It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things. What do we focus all things on? Weather. We focus on all things weather, and because we get hungry from time to time, we have a sponsor known as Marco's Pizza, who, by the way, has a brand new, and I should say brand new, deal of the week you don't want to miss. So hang with me. I've got that to cover up here in a moment, too. Expect spring fever to arrive in less than 48 hours. I talked about this last Wednesday. Now, if you know, and I know, last Wednesday was February. So some of you are like, February, that was a long time ago. No, because today is what, March the 2nd. But last Wednesday was the 25th, and then I mentioned again on the 26th. I said spring fever would be coming, and if you were really smart, get ahead of the curve, you could actually put in for some time off this Thursday and Friday from work. Maybe you could work ahead, work around some kind of workaround with school so that you had some time on the bicycle, maybe out on the boardwalk at the beach. That could be something you could consider. But now that everybody's gotten wind of it, now everybody's talking about the fact it's going to be in the 70s this week. Now you have to compete with everybody. So that's one of the benefits of watching First Warning Live. I said, if you're really smart, you put in your PTO, your paid time off, maybe not feign an illness, but you will have opportunities to feel the warmth that's coming to a neighborhood near you. By the way, the temperature trend, let's just not bury the lead any further. I told you that we'd be warming up. Today we got to 43. Tomorrow, 56, I think is generous. But boy, 48 hours from now, and we're in the upper 60s, you're like, woo! And some of you inland Virginia and inland North Carolina will be in the 70s probably on Wednesday. But 68's nothing to sneeze at, especially since our normal high is 57. So if all that you see is this, and I hope you see more, but we're going to be in the mid-70s for a prolonged period of time. A prolonged period of time. So if you've been waiting for this warm-up to occur, your time is finally here, and I'm starting to feel I got spring fever. I think I'm coming down with something. And it'll probably come down maybe on Friday. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's not me. By the way, but we have a deal of the week that's different. If you haven't seen this deal of the week, it's because it's never happened before. Our friends at Marco's wanted to give you a brand new code. Ooh, that's a WTKR. Those are your call letters. And then it gets fancy because M stands for medium pizzas. And we want to mention this is the best deal you'll find for our First Warning Live viewers. So if you use the promo code WTKR $7.99, you can get a one-topping medium pizza just like that. Isn't that cool? I thank Marco's for being so generous. We're also going to be giving away free pizza later this week. So if you haven't signed up, there's still time. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Thursday we'll announce it. But there are 6 locations that will take that new promo code from you. You don't need a coupon, but I will say that if you are interested in a one-topping pizza of any kind that they market or sell, go to WTKR M799. Mention that we have a pizza for a year certificate. We'll announce that winner on Thursday. The Pozzoli, the Magnifico. There's some also great products here, but you can get the Magnifico for $7.99. That's one topping. That would work really, really well. So make sure you check it out. And to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, when I come back on this, the fact that it's so warm, I'm getting so excited about the fact we're going to be in the 70s. Did some checking with the help of some of our team members that this was the coldest winter, the December, January, February, going back to 2014, 2015. So thanks to the research from our own meteorologist, Tony and RG, this was the coldest winter in 11 years. Does that surprise you? If it does, let me know in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. This would be a great time to say hi to you. I did get some notes from Bobby last week. This is an old note for, hey, David, buddy, News 3, good weather. Yeah, the weather is going to be even getting better, Bobby, so I hope you'll be able to enjoy that coming up. And also, who else is on here, or who else was on here? Let's see here. Robert was paying me some nice compliments there, saying, so happy that you're our new weather guy. Well, Robert, I'm thrilled to be your new weather guy. So I've been here now 12 months. It seems like it was just yesterday, but Robert, if I'm new to you, I'm really glad that you are watching. I want to get your new comments imported into the screen, but if the coldest winter in 11 years surprises you, let me know. If it doesn't surprise you, I've always said cold air is typically dry. There were some big snows this past winter. If you want to end winter on the 28th of February, Okay, but really the meteorological start of spring was in fact Sunday. It was yesterday, and so we're now in technically meteorological spring. I do take notes. The vernal equinox is at 10:46 in the morning, Friday, March 20th. So we're still about 2.5 weeks away from the official start of winter ending and spring starting. Spring officially starts astronomically 10:46 in the morning, Friday, on the 20th. All right, just checking in with you. I wanted to show you what we were seeing on the radar. We had some evidence of some snowflakes up here in Saxes tonight. Earlier this afternoon. Certainly Westover might have had a little bit of a mix. In fact, if I could, let me see if I can rewind this tape. Let's go back a couple of hours. Let's go back 5 hours. Let's see what this bad boy looked like just a few hours ago. I mean, this was pretty isolated. To say that we were going to get some flakes and drops. You said flakes and drop. Okay, well, maybe Tangier Island had a few flakes. They turned blue briefly. Where's Tangier Island, you ask? Well, it's right over here. Oops, I wanted to go over here. I wanted to circle this area here. So Tangier Island's here. They had maybe a little bit of snow. And if I were to stop this and rewind it, it would have probably been about, what time would that have been? That would have been like 3, maybe 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's right in there, 4 o'clock. No, 4:30, 4 o'clock. They had maybe some flurries over there, Saxes. Note the time here that I'm rewinding and scrubbing back the tape. That was about 4:20 this afternoon. So for those of you that thought you were getting some snow, it didn't last very long. I seriously doubt it had any sticking power, as most of the temperatures there were in the mid-30s at that particular time. Just checking in with you. This would be a great time to say hi. If you have a note, have a suggestion. As I mentioned, I have a couple of people who were watching from last week, but it is now 7:46. We've covered pizza. We've covered snowflakes. I want to know what you're thinking right now. What issues are pressing on top of mind for you when you have, let's say, let's see, what do you have? You have these warm-up days. The warm-up days are coming, and for whatever reason, my map is not wanting to load here. So let me see if I can go back. Maybe that could be the issue. I've had some issues with the software as recently as last week, but no, this should actually be loading. So let me see if I can get that to load. Let's see here. Yep, and then hit OK, and it says, oops, reduce the amount of activity. Oh, maybe I need to clear all my screens. That may be the issue. I didn't know I could do that, so maybe that's what I'm missing. But I can read the comments that might be coming on my laptop, and I can ignore this other comment there. I got Spring Fever, yay, Taj Brown is on here. Kim Thompson-Jones says, good evening, David, and First Warning Live friends. So I've got some friends on here. Let's see if I can just toggle this off. Clear the previous comments. That would be also helpful, and that would helpful. Maybe that's what I was missing. Maybe not. Let's see here. That doesn't want to load. For some reason, I'm having more issues. I might have to reboot my computer. So I won't do that necessarily at this moment. Maybe it'll load as I go through time this morning, this evening. Yeah, it's acting kind of strange. Let me see if this does this. I'll hit refresh, and maybe it'll clear it off, maybe not. Okay. If not, I'll just keep reading this notes here. But I do want to remind you that the rain that we have in the forecast tonight will be throughout the night, meaning we have some scattered showers right now over northeast North Carolina. Most of the rain right now has been over the eastern shore and the peninsulas, stretching back to Farmville, Williamsburg, North Carolina, and Raleigh. Perhaps a few showers beginning to form in that direction. All of this to say this will not last well into tomorrow. Most of it should be gone by about 5 to 8 in the morning, meaning there could be some remnant showers around 5 a.m., maybe 8 a.m., but most of you will not need an umbrella tomorrow. So let me show you the rainfall forecast. As Jeff suggests, about 1/4 inch for the south side. Some areas, as you can see here, about 1/10 of an inch to the eastern shore, and about maybe 1/10 of an inch for inland Virginia. So that's where things are at the moment. Let's see here if I can clear off. Won't let me do that. Interesting. I'll have to inspect that later. But I want to show you the amount of rain is not that impressive. But tomorrow will be that transitional day where we are actually closer to normal. Normal high is 56 this time of year. I suspect we're going to be probably close to 57, I should say, is the actual normal high tomorrow. We should be about 56. So it's pretty close to normal. Winds are going to be very, very light tomorrow. Some spotty rain possible, but temperatures about 49 at noon. There will be intervals of sun. Some of you will say it was mostly cloudy. Some of you will say it was partly sunny. Yeah, I think given the fact we have such an expansive viewing area, it'll be both. Depending on where you are, there may be more sunshine sunshine found tomorrow in North Carolina and maybe more clouds for the peninsula. But my expectation is either a partly sunny, mostly cloudy day, and the sun goes down at 6:01 tomorrow night. We'll be watching that. Speaking of clocks, oh, you knew I'd mention this. Who else is going to be ahead of the curve than to remind you that this is the 47-hour weekend? Oh, come on down, ding, ding, ding. It's like the Price is Right. Because if you knew that this was the weekend, we're going bye-bye Daylight Standard Time. We're going to daylight time. Was it ED? We're going from EST, is what I mean to say. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going bye-bye at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and we will transition into EDT, so Eastern Daylight Time. This is when people get grumpy. I'm going to be the first to tell you. People don't like losing an hour of sleep. They just don't. They just have no tolerance for losing an hour's sleep. Throws off their biorhythms or whatever you hear the people say. Oh, I'm just not my normal self. That's what happens, right? So in order to help you prepare, to give you the payoff, right? Because we have no problem around here. Oh, you're going to get an extra hour of sleep in the fall? I love it. Because football season, we don't mind doing that. But it's the other part, right? When we have to give it back. This whole standard time and Eastern daylight time. I can tell you this. I put this on the screen for your benefit, so that you know, as I showed you a moment ago, sunsets tomorrow, 6:01. But if you compare that to what's going to happen this Sunday, the sun will be going down at 7:06. Now, will your dog appreciate the fact the sun goes down at 7:06 artificially on Sunday? Maybe. Maybe you need that extra hour. Maybe you're one of the many thousands of people, maybe millions, but thousands of people that suffer from seasonal mood disorder. They're like, I need sunlight. 7:06 sunset. And we'll be going up at 7:26. So you're losing some time on the morning, but you're gaining it in the evening, and maybe that's a good trade-off all the same. And I am curious to know what you think. You can still leave the comment. I'm going to keep reading it on my laptop. Yes, warmer weather is needed, says Taj Brown. And Marilyn Bell says, I'm ready for the 70s. She's springing forward in time. Isn't that nice? Springing forward. I don't know about you, but March the 8th is this weekend. And I like to call it the 47-hour weekend because people feel cheated. They're like, I didn't get a right night's sleep, or maybe it's that extra hour of reading you were planning on doing. Ha ha. Yeah, maybe most of it's just sleep. But either way, we'll get through it. And it's a good time to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Yeah, in your smoke detector. Remember that? That's another good tip to pass along well in advance of this weekend. All right, Futurecast shows you that the snow opportunities, well, they're fleeting. They were up here in northern Accomack County. Northern Accomack County might have had a few flakes. We mentioned that over Tangier Island around 4:20 this afternoon, but it's all warming up. In fact, our temperatures are bottoming out right now, meaning our temperature right now at the airport is 37.9. We'll round that up to 38. But I can tell you our low temperature would be around 8 o'clock, possibly 9, because when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be about 43. 43, right? So go back real quick. Yeah, this is a map I wanted to show. Remember I said this is what it's going to look like at 7 a.m. is 43. So how can we be at 38 now and it's 43 at 7? Because temperatures are going to go up. They're going to go up, and they're going to be going up as probably in the next 60 minutes to 2 hours. So between now and 9 o'clock, many of our numbers are going to start to rise, and we'll be headed back to 56. So the worst of it is pretty much over in terms of the coldest air that you're experiencing. Now, rain is going to expand into Norfolk at 11 o'clock tonight. You can see that winds aren't that strong. They're at 6 miles an hour. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you're new to our platform, welcome. Our timestamp usually can be found here. But our winds are coming out of the northeast at 6, and there's still some pockets, 1, 2, 3. There's some pockets of light rain. I'd put a 20% chance. This is just one model. It falls apart. Even by midday, I think clearly, far and away, the latest run puts a lot of sunshine in the Albemarle in northeast North Carolina, and maybe more sunshine for Franklin and Chesapeake, but it would maybe be cloudier across the peninsulas in the eastern shore. Now, does it stay like that? Maybe partly sunny, partly cloudy, depending on where you are. But tomorrow is really just the setup for the warm spell that's coming. The heat wave, you want to call it spring fever, call it what you will. By the time we hit tomorrow night, I mean, some people are just going to be giddy. They're like, I can't believe we're going to be in the 60s on Wednesday. And here's Wednesday. Here's Wednesday, partly cloudy. I left a 10% chance of rain. You'd be hard-pressed to find a green dot. through midday and into the afternoon, maybe one down here, maybe down towards, say, Dare County, maybe not far from Manio or Nags Head. Maybe Nags Head or Kill Devil Hills could have a little brief shower. I left 10%, but I think even that might be overstated. For a 5 o'clock afternoon high of 68, I think that's pretty cool. And it's not a one and done. Why do I know that? Because of the behavior of this warm front. It goes from Charleston, West Virginia. It leaves Tennessee and Kentucky, goes to Charleston, and then it's going to go up here to Philly. It's going to go to Philly. Now, this is Wednesday at 4. Let's see if it goes to Philly. Can we get that warm front? Oh, it goes past Philly. It goes all the way past New York City. Yeah, and that puts us in the warm sector. That means that's a good place to be. Not for one day, not for 2 days, but for day after day after day after day. And you're like, this is great. This is fantastic. I wish I had been told about this a week ago. Boy, you were. You were told last Wednesday that we were going to be getting warm. And now the question is, what are you going to do with it? By the way, I should note this is our live picture of the ocean front. I don't know why I have my bay camera picture up there, but that's not the bay. That is the ocean front. And our current conditions right now are 38. So this is the bottom of the barrel. This is about as cold as we're going to get tonight. It does feel like 30. So I'm not going to mislead you. It feels a little colder given that wind out of the northeast at 14 miles per hour. But as you can see here on our 4 cameras, this is the Chesapeake Bay. Our Bayside camera would have gone there. There's a lot of clouds, and we have wet streets all over Williamsburg at this hour. That's where it's been raining most notably in the last couple of hours. More rain for Williamsburg at this hour. Our lows this morning and our current temperature is 38. We're not quite to 8 o'clock yet. We hit 38 and 39 about 3:59 this afternoon. 38 is our current temperature. So let's be clear there. Our low temperature is our current temperature, but previous low temperature was 39. We did that at 3:59 p.m. And our high temperature was, I believe, 43. Let's see if I can go to 43. Can we move it along? Oh, there's 43. This happened at 10:48, according to the airport records. 10:48 was the last time we were at 43, and we didn't get any warmer than that. So it was kind of a chilly day. I mentioned a few flakes, but there are the high temperatures. If you're in Suffolk, you had a high of 46. If you're in Elizabeth City, 49. Edenton had a high of 51 degrees. I'm just looking and perusing at the comments that might be coming in. Taj Brown says, yes, warmer weather is needed. He says, no more showers, no more snow. Warmer weather is loading. Yes, it is loading and reloading as we go into the next couple of days. So there it is. Our high temperature was 43, record high 81 from 1972. But if you go back to February, I know it's March, but I thought it'd be just interesting to see all 28 days. We had 10 days above, we had 18 days below. It was a colder than average month. So no question about how cold. And then you look at where we are now, it's one of each, right? Yesterday was 61. Did you know we got to 61 yesterday? And then we got a big pullback today, but we know that it's going to be getting much, much warmer starting Wednesday, Thursday through Saturday and beyond. So that's good news there. Just checking in with some of the comments. I'm also wanting to say hi to George Phelps. He says, keep up the good work. George, thanks for watching, my friend. I would love to be able to import the comments, but sometimes, I like to say this all the time. I say, technology is great until it doesn't work. You have the same experience at your work or school. If the computer needs a reboot, I'm thinking that's what I need. And once I do it, it'll be back and I'll have the comments up tomorrow. But I do appreciate the comments that are coming in. I did want to check in real quick with the actual total here. Bear with me because February is now in the books. Right, we've got the February in the books. So if I observe the weather and go back and take a look, where were we on the monthly? Monthly of February, I believe, let's go back 1 month here, because I think this is worth noting. February finished precisely -4.5. So let me go back. So yeah, -4.5. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure January was -4. Was it 4.5? Oh, sorry. 4.6 might have been January. February was -4.5. Both of them are very, very cold. So if I'm not mistaken, they're pretty close, comparable in the total. That's taking the highs and lows and dividing by the number of days of the month. Yeah, January finished -2.4. I misled you. I know we started so cold. Look at all these cold days in a row. We were very, very cold the first 9 days of the month. But January will have finished now 2.4 below normal. And now February is -4.6. I just wanted to be -4.5. Boy, I tell you what, 2 months very cold. All told, it was a total of the coldest winter season, December, January, February, since 2014, 2015. That I can tell you is accurate. All right, so where our temperature going to be warming up, our current reading, as I just moved it up to about 8 o'clock, we didn't move much, right? We're still at 38. We're going to start to see these numbers climb. Newport News, you're one of the colder numbers at 36. Hampton's at 37, but you go down to Edenton, they're at 42. It's 37 in Wakefield, Surrey, Smithfield, both at 38. Wallops is the coldest I see here, I believe 35. Gloucester, currently at 8 o'clock here, is at 36 degrees. So let's keep moving. I do know it's super cold in Bangor, Maine. They're at 12, but let's be optimistic. Let's say, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we could just copy and paste some of these 70s in Texas and bring it up here? That would be wonderful, and we're going to do that, thankfully, as we head in time. I did head out to Chesapeake City Park yesterday. I wanted to share this picture and also a little soundbite from one of our neighbors. I say neighbors, I met him for the first time. But if you've ever been to Chesapeake City Park, you know that they've got basketball courts, they've got horseshoe pits. They also have some fun places to ride a skateboard. So I thought I'd share this with you. Bear with me, it runs about 10 seconds, so here we go.
Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm at the Chesapeake City Park. I love to skate, and I just have one question. Are we done with the snow?
Ah, great question, Jordan. I don't think it's an issue. I think we're pretty much past that corner. But I always like to say never. Did you know, Jordan, and for those of you at home, we've had 13 occasions where it has actually snowed in April. Now, do I expect it? No. If you take 13 occasions out of 154 years, that factors out to about 8% of the time. April is not what month you typically expect to see flakes anywhere, and I mean just like a trace. Like a trace, it's happened 13 times. The biggest snow was like 1940, 1.3 inches of snow in April. But to answer your question, no, I think we're done. I think we're done for several reasons, Jordan, and this for those of you at home. We did see and are continuing to see a moderation in the really cold air aloft. This is representative of about 11 miles up in the sky, and typically warm air rises, cold air sinks, but a lot of this is going to continue to wrap around do-si-do like so. So it's going to bypass us here in the Carolinas and Virginia, but it'll stay humid where we continue on the path. About 30 days from now, say April 2nd, we're going to be well into our the full throes of severe weather season. I suspect that will be the case, but I'll have more from Chesapeake City Park coming up tomorrow during the live stream. But this came by way of my just going out there yesterday. And if you need more evidence why it's going to be hard to get snow in the future, this is for Jordan and for those of you that want to know the same thing. Follow the white line. You need that white line to come down for us to have some snow. And clearly the Arctic air seems like it's bottled up heading down March 6th, March 7th, March 8th, and so on. Doesn't mean we couldn't get something. I remember living in Tennessee. Everybody would remind me of the storm of the century, right? The big blizzard of '93 that came around the middle of the month. Stranger things have happened. We've had some snow before, but there could be some pullbacks on some of this warmth. As you can see, it looks like it's trying to overcome the pattern by the time we're hit the 12th. So there's going to be some nice string of 70s, but getting back to the 50s or even the 60s might actually be in the cards. Maybe the 40s could happen one day. We'll see what happens before the end of the month. All is not written on that chapter, but I can tell you we're very bullish that it's going to be warm heading forward. Scattered showers tonight, ending Tuesday morning. Drying out warmer and dry midweek, and even warmer still as we climb into the 70s to end the week. So that's the headlines in a nutshell. If you're just joining us, this is all that you need to see. And I joked on the air this evening around 5 o'clock. I said it's kind of like a mic drop, a clicker drop, that there's nothing more that I need to do. I just show you this, and then everybody's on their merry way. They're on their skateboard, if you're Jordan, or you're on your motorcycle, or you're on your bicycle, or you're taking the dog around the park. That's probably what many of us will be doing, just because the fact it's going to be so nice, and maybe tempted to be where you don't want to go to work or school because it's so nice and warm where you are. Just checking in with the comments. Thank you so much for being here. As I mentioned, 73 Thursday, 74 on Friday. Some of the newer comments I mentioned is Kim. She says, I'm ready for those temps to beware. I don't have to use my heat. I'm glad that's soon. Absolutely, Kim. I can't agree with you more. I think there is that element that we're kind of like we're waking up to the fact that we're getting a heating bill soon, and maybe it's higher than normal. When we get some kind of weather like this, it will be able to open up the windows, assuming that allergies don't come back soon. And I think that could be the next chapter of this story, which will be the tree pollen will come alive. My daffodils are blooming. All the crocuses are coming alive. All that, right? That's next. That's coming up soon too. Precipitation chances not very elevated. It is tonight. Tonight is between 70 and 80% for some showers while you sleep, but 20% tomorrow in the morning and just a spot of rain possible. I'm going to see how many of you are watching live. So it's time now for some weather trivia. Compliments of our own meteorologist, Tony Nargi, who put this one together. What instrument measures air pressure? Is it A, anemometer, B, barometer, or C, radiometer? Or I guess we could have put thermometer in there, but everybody knows that's usually the temperature. Kind of curious, how many of you are watching live, and how many of you know the answer to this question? You probably are a lot smarter than you give yourself credit if you instinctively know the answer is either A, B, or C. Be the first to answer, and I'll be the first one to put you on, at least give you props. Kim or Taj, if you've got an answer to this question, or Marilyn, I'm sure you know it. Give you maybe 10 seconds more if you have a chance to answer it. Give me an A, B, or C on the comments section just to see who's winning this trivia question, because I know Taj has been stringing them out. He's been knocking them down one at a time. No answers, no questions, no guesses, I guess. Maybe you'll guess it after I show it to you. It is a barometer. That is the answer to the question. What measures air pressure? It's a barometer. An anemometer, if you were thinking that's air, that's a wind. It's usually what we use to measure wind and wind direction, wind speed primarily. So we're looking at watching the cold air spin around. This is, like I said, it can rear its ugly head down the road. If you look at this, is March 12th. Right? And just remember that number. Notice there's a little trough that comes down into Missouri. So that might translate in this direction by the time we hit the 15th. I'm going to guess that may be the case. Let's see if this upper air pattern shows a similar outcome. So March the 5th is Thursday. That's when I said really take off from work, if you can get off. And then you'll notice it's still pretty toasty on Friday. It's really warm, well into the 70s, maybe a few lower 80s in South Georgia. Maybe Florida could be talking about that by Friday afternoon. Isn't that nice? But then it starts to retreat. Notice the coloring starts to drop off. The temperatures maybe not as lofty by the time we hit the 12th of March in the middle of the country, namely Chicagoland, where they could see some snow. It'd be interesting to see if that translates here. How much lower will our temperatures go by the time we hit the 13th through the 15th? We'll have to wait and see. It looks like it would be short-lived. It's not that deep of a trough, but something we'll watch all the same. 807, just checking in with you, having multiple sources for information. Always a good idea. Download the First Warning Weather app and the NOAA Weather Radio. Let's see here. Taj says he answered the question. I'm going to give Taj, I got B from Taj and Kim. Congratulations to you both. Like I said, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm not able to put your comment on the screen until I reboot, I think, but very happy that you got it right. Barometer is the answer. And it was a very popular question, according to Tony, for people who knew the answer. They knew it some time ago. Now, satellite radar shows you again what we're looking at around the country. If you've got family, you're in the military, and you're homesick, I can zoom in, zoom out. Let's go out to the west. I'm over in Utah. Salt Lake City's getting some rain and snow. They haven't had a whole lot of snow this winter, but it looks like some of the mountains there in the Rockies could be getting some snow. Denver, pretty dry. Cheyenne, Wyoming, a few rain showers. Got rain in parts of South Dakota and Iowa at this hour. Nothing severe. But if we head back toward the middle part of the country, or mid-Atlantic, I should say, Tennessee Valley's got some rain now moving into areas around, say, looks like an ugly mix around Roanoke. But Oak Ridge, Tennessee, also dealing with some rain around Knoxville, Townsend, and Hartford. Not raining necessarily in Morristown, but they've got showers now, a mix of showers in parts of southwest Virginia. I'm looking north of Roanoke, a little bit of freezing rain or maybe some sleet, changing in that purple color there, well north of Richmond. And then, as I mentioned, the mixing is really not an issue in the Chincoteague area. So once you get out of Accomack County, it looks like it's just some drippy weather at best. Really not a big deal, all things considered. All right, keeping moving, I wanted to show you the European model for the next 10 days. If you're looking for some snow, you're going to be hard-pressed to find it. We have rain showers, maybe even some thunder possibility by the 9th of March. That's next Monday. There'll be enough evidence for some convection, I think, there. But you can continue to watch more rain coming up from the Gulf, coming up from Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, and